Hello and good morning. Welcome back, everyone. For What's Trending, it is back. We need to come back for 2013. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Yeah, and we have our whole Sunrise panel here, the originals. We got Martha Guzman, Jay Walker, Natasha Herzig, all ready to sound off this morning. They already happened. So
I thought we were fired. So I'm glad to be back
Not
to work.
fired. You guys are safe. You guys are safe for now.
For now.
No, you guys are good. But let's go ahead and jump into our topics because the first one we want to talk about is, of course, lots of violence going on in the schools. Before we went on break, of course, we had the whole shooting in Connecticut, which was very tragic. Yesterday, there was a shooting at a school in Taft, California, as well over there. And then there was a fight that broke out. This right here, you can see the video in Swittsville, Pennsylvania. This involved 70 parents and students.
Wow.
And this not only happened Monday, the same thing happened Tuesday, and someone caught it on their cell phone, and you can see right there, things just very violent, people punching each other, kicking each other. Again, parents were involved in this. This was right outside of a school. You can see the school bus right there in the background. So my question to you all is, police say that the people in this are going to be arrested. They're still trying to find out what's happening here. But I mean, all these violence outbreaks at the schools across the country, there's a lot of talk about gun control, what they can do to prevent it. My question to you is, what do you think we could do to stop these outbreaks of violence at these schools?
Well, there's a lot of talk about, obviously it comes down, like you say, it comes down to gun control, and it comes down to guns because the kids now are bringing guns to school, and that's the starter of it, and it is eventually at the end the stopper of it. It is the Second Amendment of the Constitution. We have the right to bear arms in this country. Even our president and vice president right now are trying to do some stuff there. He's even talking about doing an executive order to, we have the right to bear arms. Do I think that every teacher in school should have a gun? No, absolutely not. I do not believe that. Okay, I am a firm believer that we have the right to bear arms. I have guns. No one's going to take my guns away from me. But at the same time, arming a police officer, having some sort of protection there is something that we definitely got to look at. Because the reason I say no to the teachers, because with the kids nowadays, who's to say these kids don't get together, beat up the teacher, and take their gun? Okay, we have to have professional people there protecting our kids. The reason they're talking about this executive order, they're going to try to do the things that they're going to do, because even if it saves one life, if that's the case, then they better start outlawing cars, alcohol, tobacco, ladders, hammers, baseball bats. Where does it stop? Guns are just one of the things. It's the wrong answer, but I think properly preparing making sure our kids are safe. And if they're bringing guns to school, the only thing that's going to protect kids is the same thing. So I think that we need to have professional people protecting our children.
All right, Martha?
Gosh, I think we can dedicate a whole segment to this. I understand the Second Amendment, right to bear arms, but what right does a 16-year-old child have? And I think we also need to talk about mental health issues. How are these kids getting access to guns? Whether they're on drugs, whether they have mental health issues. Come on, how many more children have to die? I mean, we can't even go to the mall without, being concerned that someone might get shot. We can't go to school. Now our kids are, that's something that they have to worry about. We can't go, in some cases, just out in the community or to church. I mean, what does it have to take? I mean, we have to, there's no easy answer, but we have to look about, mental health. What are we going to do to help these kids and need help?
Absolutely.
Why are these kids getting guns? I understand there's very responsible gun owners, but how did the 16-year-old child in Taft, California get the gun? We know how the child got the gun. Well, he wasn't even a child, 20-year-old in Connecticut. But there needs to be some solution. Do I have the answer? No, but I think collectively we need to start. The dialogue has started. We need to look at our violent culture. Video games, they have got to the point they're so realistic that children get desensitized. They're getting points for killing as many people as shooting and killing. So we need to look at it. We become a very violent society, unfortunately. And let's look at the source. Mental health, video games. I think it all plays a role in this.
Well, with video games, we no longer have, they don't know. It's just, it's just a life, boom, there's no value of life anymore.
Okay, video games are not the reason why people are doing what they're doing. And there will never be a #1 solution, because mental health will always be mental health issues, and there is not.
But we're not doing enough at this moment in time.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, because you just don't see somebody on a continual basis and they're normal, and then one day they go out and start shooting up a school. There are always signs. They say there are always signs. And people need to speak up and say, I'm sorry, this person is acting weird. Who do I go to talk about why this person is acting this way? And I do believe that teachers should be armed, absolutely trained and certified to be able to use a weapon to protect their students. Absolutely. And I believe that there should be law enforcement at every school.
All right, so some interesting views this morning on stopping school violence from our Sunrise panel. Of course, thank you guys all for your input. And as Martha said, we could probably dedicate a whole segment to this.
Yes, we
but,
Yes.
you know, again, something needs to be done because we have to prevent these tragedies that we've seen repeated time and time over again. And it seems like every time they're repeated, it just keeps getting worse.
Well, it's terrible because how sad that we are in a day and age where I have to go to my daughter's school and say, do you have an emergency plan set in place if this happens? I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
My daughter is supposed to be safe at school.
Absolutely, you know, so we'll have to see what happens in the talks about that. But coming up next on Sunrise, we'll be talking about the Jodi Arias trial. Now, of course, she's the woman who's accused of stabbing her boyfriend 29 times and shooting him in the head. This is a hot trial, and we're going to be talking about it right after the break on What's Trending. Welcome back, everyone, to What's Trending. And of course, now we're going to talk about the Jodi Arias trial. Excuse me. She has been on trial all week. This just started, but it's been a hot case quite for some time right now in the press and media as well. And as you can see right there she is, Jodi Arias, of course, accused of killing her boyfriend, stabbing him 29 times, shooting him in the head. This week there have been pictures that the couple took of them engaged in sexual acts, and then moments later showing him dead, full of blood, very graphic pictures. His name is Travis Alexander. She first denied killing him. Now she says she did it in self-defense, claiming domestic violence. But her story keeps changing throughout this trial. You see right there, she's just fine. So 1 minute she's crying, 1 minute she's fine. People watching a lot of her actions in the courtroom. So my question is to you guys all, guilty or not guilty?
Well, no one will ever know what really happened in that house besides them two. But what I will say is I'm a big believer in facts don't lie. And the evidence is compounding against her. And the way that she killed him, allegedly killed him, that is somebody who is very, very upset and very passionate. You look at their history. He was known to be flirtatious. She was known to be possessive and controlling. Those really are not traits of somebody who seems to be being victimized as much as probably being the victimizer. And with that being said, it makes it sad that if she was not abused, that she's using the domestic violence card, because it makes it harder for victims of abuse when they do finally be able to stand up for themselves and do defend themselves and kill their abuser, that they're going to use that, and people look at it and say, well, she's just saying that and wants to get away with murder. So for that, it's very disappointing if she was not abused that she's using this card. I personally think she is guilty.
Yeah. All right, Jay.
Well, like you say, facts don't lie. Key word here is lie, and that's what this lady knows how to do really, really well. She's been lying from day one. She said it happened this way. I didn't have anything to do with it. To other men did it. Yes, I did it too. You know, if she was truly the victim of abuse and stuff, even when she was in jail and then finally surrounded by people that were going to take care of her, and she was still lying, it seems to me at that point she would have said, no, it was because of abuse. No, she was still coming up with stories of other men coming in and doing it. They found the camera of taking pictures. They were having sex before the incident. There's pictures of that. There's actually pictures where it fell onto the ground, and there's pictures of her standing over his body. And then the camera magically wound up in the washing machine trying to erase erase everything. Yeah, no, she's guilty, and lying is what she's doing.
All right,
best.
so real fast, Martha, guilty or not guilty?
Well, I believe she's guilty. She stabbed him 29 times and shot him in the head. Come on now. It's not a question of who done it. It's just, okay.
And the most damning evidence of it all is that after she did it, she went to another lover's house and hung out with him.
Right.
And they did
he
things.
testified earlier
Exactly.
this week. And she didn't even mention the murder or anything.
I mean,
Talk about mental health issues. She needed some help,
Mental
definitely.
health issues.
All the cuts on her hands and stuff, and she worked at a bar, and now they've already
bar
said
doesn't even exist.
the bar doesn't exist.
All right. Well, let's move on to a much lighter topic right now. You guys have all agreed on that one. The last topic we're going to talk about is, of course, the Southgate Mall, which got some new owners. Yeah, there's plans to revamp it here in Yuma. It was once a booming spot here in Yuma, the place to go at one time. Now it kind of seems like a ghost town on that side of town. I mean, so to speak, because there's not a lot of stores in the mall and stuff. So I want to see what you guys would like to see done with the mall to attract more people to go back in and make it possibly the place that it was once before.
You want to go? We've gone first every time.
Okay, well, let's see. What would I want to see? It's early in the morning and I'm hungry. How about a Trader Joe's? A BevMo?
Yes, that was one of mine.
Alcoholic beverage in the morning. Okay,
Yeah.
I like your style.
Mimosas, no. I would like to see a Forever 21. It's a really fun store, and I think it would do really well here. I would love to see a Macy's, but then I don't want it to detract from our dealers that we have here, so I'm not sure if that would be a smart move. But definitely, some big name department stores.
Retailers.
Retailers.
Okay.
I'm not really thinking about any of the stores and their competition as much as I'm thinking about myself in this situation.
Not
And
you.
I'm going to go ahead and say we could have maybe a Saks Fifth Avenue, a Nordstrom's,
There you go.
All right.
a Mac,
Okay.
A Nordstrom rack.
and a Mac makeup.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
I have not lived
My
here long
question
enough.
to you is, you might be able to afford that, but how many people in Yuma
Right.
will be able to afford to shop? Nordstrom's pretty pricey. I'm going to say
Yes.
it. I'm going on the record to say it. It's pretty pricey. So.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry. It's just that
Real
when
fast, James.
when I moved
We're
to
running out of
Yuma, I walked into that mall. We called it the because it wasn't a mall, and then we called it the hall because that's what it was more of it. So I love the idea that they're actually tearing it down and going to be really rebuilding something new.
Right.
And I want an AJ's Fine Food, and yes, a BevMo. Those are my two
and like
things.
Martha said, a Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
Earlier.
Yeah, after
Cheesecake
that,
No
yeah.
Factory.
restaurants. We don't need any restaurants.
Yeah.
Just go to Z Fun Factory.
I
You'll
haven't
be all
lived here
right.
long. I haven't lived here long enough. All I've ever since I've lived here is known Yuma Palms. So I didn't know there was this other place.
All right,
It was
well,
the
maybe
muck.
you all will each get your wish. We'll have to see what happens as time
AJ's
goes
Fine
on and
Foods.
plans develop. Hopefully, you guys will each get a little something that you all want. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for joining us today on What's Trending. Of course, thanks for our nice sunrise panel here. And be sure to join us next week on What's Trending. We'll have your weather after this break.
Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.